Kill Complacency, a podcast that inspires growth and intentionality and helps you overcome your greatest obstacles.
My guest today is Jimmy Ogle, and I've bought a few houses from him. He's a home solution specialist here in OKC. I've known you, Jimmy, for 5-6 years, more on who you were and whatnot, watch you grow. Mm-hmm. You've been in business in OKC doing real estate for over a decade.
Yeah, 11 years.
Can you kind of tell us more about your story, how you got into it, why real estate, all that good stuff?
Yeah, real estate, I was actually working at Hideaway Pizza and gosh, what year is that? I don't remember the exact year, in the early 2000s. And someone there was leaving to go be like a commercial realtor. And so I actually went to the real estate school, passed the test first try, and then went to get my license and actually flunked the background check because just being young and dumb, had a DUI on my record. So kind of, went away from it for a while, got my record cleaned up and everything, but then didn't at that time go into real estate. I actually went into FedEx contracting business, did that for about a decade, and was able to sell that business and take the funds from there and jump headfirst into real estate. And so anyways, when I was leaving FedEx, someone else that was a contractor too there had left and bought a Home Investors franchise.
Okay.
And so that's what I did because I didn't know anything better. And that was kind of how I learned real estate. And that was kind of before wholesaling was becoming mainstream. Mm-hmm. And so it actually worked really good in the beginning. And not sure if that was the cause of it, but it just seemed like it wasn't working as great anymore. We ended up, we actually moved to LA for a couple of years, moved our franchise out there. And before we moved home, we had sold our franchise. Moved back to OKC in 2019 and started our own brand. And ever since that point, it's been really good. We were able to scale and build a true business out of it. And in the early days, we started in real estate in the investing side in 2014. And, it was kind of a one-man show. I had an assistant at times.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 2019, moving back home from California, joined a mastermind. So a couple different things, I was out of the franchise, joined a mastermind, just a lot of mixture of things. And then probably just being determined as well, was able to really scale our business and, put employees in place and just kind of built a true business out of it.
Yeah. Now, 2019 was when I first bought a house from you. And you just kind of showed up in town. It was a wheel of a deal for me.
Yeah.
I know you made some money because my deal fell through on my end. So you actually closed it and then closed it with me 2 weeks later because I was using 1031 exchange money. But it was fun because then I followed you for a bit. It was fun to watch you build your business.
Yeah.
And COVID hit. And of course, COVID was good for most people in real estate.
Yeah. In the moment, we didn't think it was going to be good, but yeah, it ended up that way. It was definitely a scary time. I thought the ceiling was about to fall in on us.
Yeah.
But that ended up being a blessing in disguise. I mean, obviously, the market took off like crazy, which none of us could have predicted. But, I thought this was the next crash, right? Like I thought banks were going to stop lending. I thought, I had, because we were in the thick of it. Like I was determined to get a ton of rentals. And so we were buying rentals like crazy in that. And so I had a ton of rentals that we hadn't refied yet on long-term loans. So I thought we were screwed, honestly. And so, but it caused me to start raising private money. And now that's primarily, unless refinancing a rental to long-term rental, that's primarily what we use now is private money. And it's really gotten us to a place where, which we've always tried to be that, a different wholesaler with like for example, the one you were talking about, where if they walk away or delay in funding or whatever, like we can step in and take care of the seller. And so it allows us to do that, allows us to do a ton of deals ourselves rather than just being a wholesaler. And so it was a huge thing for us being, going out and raising that money because just the flexibility that comes with that. Because honestly, I'm paying probably more interest to my private lenders than I would if I used bank, but it's just the flexibility of it.
Sure.
I can close a house tomorrow if I wanted to.
Yeah. Talk to me about the FedEx business. How what are some lessons you learned from that, Jimmy, that have maybe carried over to your business now, your home solutions?
Gosh, I learned so many lessons there. I mean, that was really my first business. But I would say the biggest lesson I learned is I do not want to be dependent on anyone else for the success of my business. And what I mean by that, not employees or whatever, but FedEx expected perfection, which is just not realistic, right? And so 99.9% service, even at the detriment of safety. And so like, hey, I know I've got this safety thing on my truck, or this guy's been up sick all night or whatever. Nope, truck's got to roll, every package got to be delivered. It didn't matter. And so they would threaten your contract, hold it over your head. We were winning awards for like best contractor in like the region, and still was just our contract being threatened every single month. And so
where were you?
In Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City,
yeah.
Okay.
We built up, we had like, I think 20 different routes.
Wow.
And yeah, just they would just hold it over your head, and all the debt from buying trucks. I mean, we went so far as to like we bought a whole new fleet of trucks, so we have great image, and to try to be safer and easier to keep drivers because they're driving better equipment, and just always threatening the contract. I did not like that. Like I wanted
no control
at all. There is good things like as long as you showed up and got the work done, like you were getting paid every single week. But still the ups and downs, you have an engine go out in a truck or whatever, and so you didn't make any money or whatever. But did you
ever have some employees?
What's that?
Did you ever have some employees that's harder on trucks?
Oh yeah. Especially like before we updated our fleet, like everything was manual transmissions.
Okay.
And it's just different than a car, like just getting used to driving those trucks. And each truck was a little bit different.
Sure.
So they were so hard on the clutches and the brakes and all of it. I mean, it was, I definitely became a little bit of a mechanic in those days.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to keep them running for the next day.
Yeah. I mean, I learned, because some of the little things, like if you're taking into a mechanic every single time, it'd eat you alive. So, I mean, I learned how to, work on clutches, and definitely was changing starters and alternators. And I can't even remember what all at this point, brakes, all stuff. The little things would eat you up.
That's cool. Okay. So you sold that. You said you moved to LA. Mm-hmm. You bought the franchise.
Yeah. So we were in Oklahoma City with the franchise for 3 years before we moved to LA. What was
the appeal to LA? Do you have family there? Or
I was born and raised in Oklahoma, never lived anywhere else.
Okay.
And my mom had just passed away. Business wasn't going super great. And I had another business that I was had partnered with my brother with. Don't suggest doing business with him. And just a lot of stressful things in our life. I went to Tony Robbins in March in LA, and I think that was like our second trip without the kids. My wife and I went together.
Because your kids would have been young then.
Yeah, they were super young. And so we went to LA, did UPW, Tony Robbins, walked on fire, all that. So came back on fire. And one thing I'll say, if you're first getting into personal development, like do it with your spouse, because you don't want to, outgrow each other. I think that was a really, really good thing that we did it together. But yeah, came back, we're both on fire. And so we just had this itch to change things up. And so that was in March. By August, we were living in LA. So we just picked up and moved basically. And it re-energized me as an entrepreneur, but also just for the real estate business, just different type of real estate, bigger numbers. It was exciting living by the beach for a little while. And honestly, I mean, the main reason we moved home is because I was wanting to build a rental portfolio.
And it was easier here than there.
Yeah, well, we were still doing it. We're still buying houses here, but it's hard to do it at scale.
Sure.
And then I also had some partners out there that were choosing to step away. So it's kind of this decision of like, okay, do we take a chance and start just flipping houses on our own here? Or do we move back to Oklahoma City and take a chance there and just build a rental portfolio and flip houses there? And so that's what we did. Just moved home. And that was in 2019. So we moved home just in time to not
Yeah, it was
experience COVID in California.
It was prime. Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have been terrible there.
Yeah.
And then it was good here because we had a big influx of
Yeah, so
people
we
migrating.
kind of had a base of our business built by the time it hit, and so really set us up nicely to take advantage of that.
Yeah. I remember I traveled a lot that spring of 2020. And I got done traveling and it's June and like things were starting to get a little better, but you didn't really know. I thought, I'm going to go talk to my banker. And on the way to talk to the banker, I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, I want to buy real estate, but I still don't know what to do. Dad said, Marty, buy it. He said, the feds are printing money and commodities are going to go up and that's going to be cheap. And I talked to the banker and the banker said the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, full steam ahead.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time to get into real estate because the banks were eating up real estate. But at the same time, Oklahoma City is such a great market for lending. Like we have it so much easier than other places. Like I'm in a real estate mastermind and talk to some of these people. I'm like, how are you getting all this money for rentals and all this stuff? I'm like, just local banks. It's pretty easy. But so we're very blessed by our banking community here. I love it.
Yeah. What do you think that is? Is it the culture of Oklahoma that we have those, or?
I'm not really sure because like I had a friend in South Carolina and he came across a whole mobile home park and he was just going to wholesale it. And I was like, I've got private money, let's buy it and then we'll refinance it. We never could get it refinanced because the local banks out there wouldn't touch it. And then it was too small. It wasn't big enough for like a national mobile home lender. And so we ended up having that thing with my private lender that was supposed to be like a year loan. We had it for like 3 years with him. So we finally ended up just selling it. But yeah, I'm not really sure why that is. But I'm glad that
it's good though.
Here where it's good.
Yeah, because I talk about the products I get with people at conferences and they're like, you do what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just find a local bank. It's not hard. So, with your business model, and I know this, I guess, because I've been on the buying side of things, but you guys offered to the seller easy breezy contracts, close when they want, leave the stuff if they want. How did you create that business model, or is that you just feel like that's part of it? And how does that? And I guess the other thing I want to hear in this is, could you tell me, maybe this is a follow up, but could you give me like one story of how your business model of, I'll just call it customer service, has really impacted somebody?
I don't know if I necessarily created it, as it's the wholesaling business. I think we've just, really focused on the service part of it. I mean, we're a service business. You either need our service or you don't. Just focus on over serving people. As far as an example, I'm not super connected with the actual sellers anymore, just at the size we've gotten. But one that does stick out to me that I've been involved with lately was this lady called. She actually had already gone to the foreclosure auction, and so was in the 2-week time frame
before the final hearing. Yeah.
And so called us and had a week. And not saying other people couldn't have got it done, but one things that we ran into was title company holding the abstract hostage. So I feel like most people would kind of thrown up their hands. Well, so we had some tricks up our sleeve to still get that done.
How do you get around that?
Close with another closer at that same title company.
Oh, okay.
Good, but that was really the only way, because and I won't throw this closer under the bus, but I don't know. I just felt like it was wrong. Like I get it. They had an investor that they're serving a client, but at the same time, if you have a seller going through that, in my mind, the right thing to do is let that seller be taken care of rather than the investor. Yeah,
the person in first place.
So. Anyways,
mostly because an investor is going to find another one, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just a deal to them, or it's
this person's life. It's going to ruin that. Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, we were able to get it closed within a week's time. and actually ended up having to come up pretty significantly on the deal. So we won't make a ton on it, but we'll still do well. And then we were able to give her 3 weeks, so she didn't have to, to be forced out. She was able to take time and figure out where she's going next and things like that. So that was the most recent one that I can really think of where I, was involved. But unfortunately, which I kind of miss, honestly, hearing everyone's stories and being close to it, because it makes you feel like you're doing something good. But unfortunately, I don't get to see all the stories anymore. I ask a lot from our acquisitions people, like, hey, what's going on with this one? Because, sometimes it's good to have a reminder that we're doing good, and it's not all just about the numbers, because it's, it's a service business, but at the same time, it's a sales and marketing business. And being in the position I am in the business now, it's kind of, focusing on the numbers. And sometimes you got to remember it's, we're here to serve people.
Well, that's the root. And you want to train your employees, to serve.
Yeah.
So, because at the end of the day, I mean, kind of to your point about the investor earlier, like numbers tell a story, but reputation's going to trump numbers.
Of course.
In the long run. So, especially in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But it is
around fast.
It is, I was going to say, it is hard, Jimmy, too, isn't it? Like to be a wholesale or home solution business, because you do rub some people the wrong way. Like, how have you guys overcome some of that? Or are you just kind of like,
I think there's certain people, for one, that don't understand wholesaling, and so they look down on it. They don't see that there is a need for it, and I think if you don't think there's a situation that could happen in your life that would cause you to, sell a house under market, then I don't know if you would understand it. But there's definitely that situation in most people's lives. They just haven't had that.
Well, some people just don't want to show their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there's sometimes people, there's no financial distress. There's nothing wrong with the house, whatever. Honestly, sometimes for whatever reason, they just don't like realtors. I'll have people sell you a perfectly fine house. I'm like, you could sell this for more if you go list it. Nope, don't want to deal with that.
That one I bought from you recently, it's that way. Like, the people had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Which doesn't bother me at all. But once we got it cleaned out, I was kind of like, like they left there's a good margins for me, on it, but I think they just didn't want to clean up their house real good and deal with showings.
If I remember right, I think those people were moving out of state, and they just wanted to know, like, okay, can we just sell and be done and go?
Yeah.
Or we're just going to
And that's what you offered them.
Yeah.
You guys can be done. You don't have to show your house. I mean, I don't know what you offered, but that's what they got.
Yeah.
And that, to your point, like, people don't realize that there is a place for wholesaling.
Yeah, definitely. But I would say another way that we get around because there is some natural negativity towards wholesaling, is just we do what we say we're going to do. If we promise something, we're going to fulfill it, whether if it's to the seller or to the buyer or to a lender, whatever it is. Like, we do what we say we're going to do, because your name is all you got, and it takes a while to build up a good reputation, but you can kill it in an instant. And so we just have always focused on, okay, if we said we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
Yeah. Talk to me. What was some of the big challenges you faced early on when you were creating this?
First challenge was, I'd sold my FedEx business, and I can't remember exactly how much money we had in the bank, but we had a decent amount of money in the bank, enough to float us and money for, buying houses and stuff. And just thought, we're good, right? And then I go talk to a bank, and it's like, you have no income. Yeah, but I got this money in the bank.
You got cash.
But you have no income. You have no W-2. I'm like, I haven't had a W-2 since I was 19, So, I just didn't realize how, the whole lending game with banks and stuff, where, honestly, someone making $10,000 a year with a W-2 probably could have got lending easier than I could have in the early days. It was crazy, because I was like, I've got this lump of sum sitting in the bank. So that was definitely a lesson that we had to overcome. And thank goodness that, found a bank that was willing to take a chance on me and,
Mm-hmm.
Saw my business experience and things like that. And so we were able to overcome that. But so that was definitely an early lesson that we learned. And then I think another lesson was just how marketing dependent this business is. Coming from the world I was used to, I didn't pay a dime of marketing.
In FedEx.
I wasn't a dime of marketing. And so then coming and, it was small, but it felt big at that time, but it was like $2,500 a month or something that we, to start off with. And it was like, I got to pay money just to get people to call me to be able to get this business. What? So yeah, that was a change. And then,
what do you spend now a month on?
a lot, a lot more. I wish I could only spend that.
You have to.
But yeah,
tell me this. Maybe you would know this. Maybe you don't. If you were to look at numbers, has that percentage stayed about the same? So if you invested $2,500, but let's just say you brought in,
it's actually much higher now, and I think that's I don't know if it's just where we're at as a business.
So you're more efficient as a business.
Yeah,
turning
so
market dollars
our
into
return on ad spend is a higher
Okay.
multiplier than it was, and it hasn't always been like that. But right now, things are really good. Yeah,
got a good team.
Good team, and then years in the market where we know what a house can sell for, knowing. Because we don't just wholesale. So knowing no, it makes more sense for us to flip this one or keep this one as a rental or whatever. And so just maximizing each one rather than just wholesaling everything.
Because you would have three strategies: wholesale, retail, and buy and hold, more or less.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Do you novate?
No, don't mess with that. We want to buy it or not. I don't do anything
that's its own business model.
We try to keep it simple. I don't wholesale anything creative. So people, ask, well, would they own or finance or whatever? I'm like, I'm not going to get stuck in the middle of that deal forever. Like if someone is going to sell their deal creatively, we'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want 10 years down the road, something to happen, someone starts suing someone and I'm in the middle of it because I got a $10,000 wholesale fee 10 years ago or whatever. And also I like making sure people are taken care of where if I buy it creatively, I know, if I'm not taking care of it, crap's hit the fan. Right. So,
yeah.
We don't wholesale anything creative. Don't do any innovations, just old school, buy it or sell it.
Give me the money.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your marriage and your wife. Has your wife always been on board with your entrepreneur spirit? Has that been a struggle?
So there was a house in Crown Heights, and we were still at FedEx at the time, but there was a house in Crown Heights, and I could have bought it. And I was like, I want to buy this house and fix it up. And she's like, no, you don't want to do that. Well, then a year or two later, we drive by it, and it's pristine, and you can look up what they bought it and sold it for. And she's like, I'm never going to tell you no again. But yeah, she's always fully trusted me, knows that that I'm going to do what's best for our family. And so, yeah, she fully trusts that I know what I'm doing.
So there was one time.
Even though I might not always know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, that speaks volumes because I think as men, we can do about anything. Especially, I should say, we can do anything with our wife alongside us. I mean, it's just so much easier.
Yeah. I think the good thing is, we met each other when we were young and had nothing, and we both grew up poor. And so, if something happened and we went back to being poor, I mean, we'll make it through, and honestly, we'll probably, make it back again. But, so yeah, I mean, I think that's good. I think if, I don't know this for sure, but I think when you meet someone when you're in a different level of life, that maybe is a different case. But I think since we both started out when
you've grown together,
had nothing,
went to Tony Robbins together.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. Outgrowing your spouse's mindset, if that's the right way of saying that. But I could see that being.
Yeah, it can definitely cause problems. I've seen it happen in friends.
Yeah. And one's like, come on. And they're like.
Yeah. I had a friend, he was they were struggling in their marriage, and he's like, I'm going to Tony Robbins. I'm like, you're already struggling in your marriage. Like, take your wife. If you're going to go, take her with you. And he did, and I think they're doing a lot better today. I don't know that it's because of that necessarily, but I definitely...
Could be, though.
Yeah, hopefully. But I definitely think like that's, if you're looking into getting into personal development or whatever, something like that, that's a big change. Really try to include your spouse. Make sure they're on board with it, because it can create differences. And when you become a crazy person and you start walking on fire.
So did your wife walk on fire too?
Oh, yeah. So she probably ended up getting into it more than I did. She started crewing, like volunteering, working the events. So, yeah, she's worked multiple events. We've been to multiple Tony Robbins events. I think the only thing of his that we haven't done is his platinum partnership, which I still want to do one day, but it's not there yet.
What's that cost?
A lot. I want to say it's like maybe $100,000 for a year or something like that. I don't know the exact amount, but it's a lot. But I'm sure it's worth it. Just the shoulders you're going to rub there alone is life-changing.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives, to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways in which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there.